Is your Achilles tendon feeling quite sore and uncomfortable when you try to get up and walk after sitting for a while? Or even stranger, is it sometimes okay and other times it really hurts? Well, in this video, I'm going to explain why your Achilles may feel uncomfortable when you get up from sitting and also what you can do about it. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Maryke. I'm one of the physiotherapists from treatmyachilles.com, where you can get online physiotherapy assessment as well as treatment of any type of Achilles injury. Have a look at the description of this video if you want a link to our website. There are 5 main reasons why your Achilles tendon may feel so stiff and uncomfortable when you get up from sitting. The first is that actually it's part of the injury process. So when your tendon is injured, it accumulates more fluid inside it. It also produces some chemicals and things relating to the injury, and those chemicals can irritate your nerve endings, which then makes it more painful and sensitive. Now, when you're moving around, your circulation is pretty good and you get rid of all of that stuff quite nicely. But then when you sit still for a period of time, to be honest, sleeping does the same thing, the fluid accumulates, these chemicals accumulate, and the tendon just becomes more stiff and uncomfortable. So then when you get up to walk, you've got to hobble as you go, but after you've moved for a little bit, you actually find that, oh, I can move much easier. So what can you do about it? Well, short-term relief, it can really help if you just move the tendon before you actually get up off the chair or off your bed to start going. So even just doing in sitting 10 heel raises, so just moving it like that, or just gently pumping your ankle like that, it can already make a difference. So I would go for 10 to 20 gentle movements before you get going. Now, the reason I say gentle is try not to pull your toes too hard up into a stretch position. It's quite a natural thing for us to want to stretch stuff that feels tight. But when your Achilles tendon is injured, it actually often doesn't like stretching. It's a little bit like pressing on a bruise because a stretch takes the tendon closer to the bone and that irritates it if it compresses against it. Normally tendons don't mind it, but only when they're injured they don't like it. So avoid strong stretches back, rather just move it in the range that feels comfortable, and then you may find that you can walk more easily. If you want long-term relief from that stiffness you get from sitting, then getting onto the right rehab plan as well as doing the other things that can help your treatment will help the tendon recover, and then that stiffness will finally disappear completely. Now, I've made a whole video about the treatments and different treatment options that's supported by the research. So if you're interested in that, please have a look at the description of this video. I'll put a link to that one there. Now, a second reason is that it's possible that you're sitting with your feet a little bit too far underneath your chair and putting that Achilles tendon into a stretch position. So remember I mentioned before that the Achilles tendon, when it's injured, doesn't really like being stretched into dorsiflexion because that position brings the injured tendon closer to the heel bone and presses on it, so it irritates it over time. And especially insertional Achilles tendonitis, where it affects where the tendon inserts into the bone, can get really irritated if you put it in that stretch position. So have a look. Are you putting your feet quite far underneath your chair so that you have that ankle in that position? If so, rather have your feet out in front of you. Or even better, place something underneath your heels so that the heels are slightly lifted while you're sitting there, because that will stop it from happening. Obviously, don't go overboard and have your feet totally like that the whole time. It's got to be in a comfortable position. So just check, what are you doing with your feet when you're actually sitting? Reason number 3 is, are you having your feet in a position that you're sitting out nice and comfortable, and that painful Achilles tendon or your heel, especially if it attaches into the heel, is resting on something? Now, even if it's a soft cushion or pillow that it's resting on, if it's really annoyed with life, that low grade of pressure, if sustained for long enough, can make it hurt more afterwards. So just have a look. If it is that you're sitting in a position like that and your tendon feels a lot more uncomfortable when you get up, that's likely the reason for that. So how do you fix it? Easy. Stop sitting like that. If you really want your feet out in front, have the thing that supports you under your calves so that your heel is free, that the pressure isn't actually directly on the heel or on the painful part of the tendon. If you find that sometimes you can sit for hours, not a problem. Other times you just sit for a short period of time and it really hurts afterwards to get up. have a look at what activities you've done in the hours before you sat down or even the previous day. Now, why do I say this? Tendons often have a delayed pain response. So you do something now that's actually annoying it and overworking it, but it doesn't tell you in the moment. It's only several hours later that you start feeling the pain or increased stiffness. So it may be that you've walked too much, perhaps the run you did was too much, or you walked on terrain that really worked it hard, like hilly terrain. You wore different shoes. So often painful Achilles tendons don't like being in flat shoes or walking around barefoot. They like being in a slight heel. It may be that you've done some stretches, which felt really good in the moment, but then later on it causes it to be more sensitive. So have a look. If your tendon is not consistently painful when you get up and walk, it may depend on the activities you've either done a couple of hours before or even the previous day. So try to map those out and figure out what's going on with that. Now, lastly, it may just depend on how long you sit for. So if you're going to sit for a short period of time, your circulation is not going to decrease so much, or fluid won't have time to accumulate so much that it actually starts feeling uncomfortable. So it may just be how long you're sitting, and as your tendon recovers, that will improve and it will all get better. Brilliant. Hope you found that useful. Now remember, if you need more help with an injury, you're welcome to consult one of the team via video call. The link to our website is in the description of this video. And also, if you would like to know more about the evidence-based treatment, how to know what type of tendonitis you've got, have a look at the description of this video. I'll also put links to other useful videos in there.